So if you were to reference that chart there, it'll pretty much be in that somewhere in that area. Again, seasonality. We talked about finding things from around the world or things that are grown here in a greenhouse or something that's out of season. They're not going to be as sweet. Their glycemic index is going to be a little bit lower at that time. But ripe and in season, it could be much higher. So there's a difference there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Again, now the low glycemic can also increase your energy. It's gonna sustain your energy as well. It's gonna sustain your mood. You're not gonna have these peaks and valleys where you're gonna have highs from the sugar and lows from crashing off the sugar. And that can come. It doesn't have to come from an energy drink or a soda. That can come from your diet alone too, from foods that you think that are natural, but happen to be high in sugar.
What about sodas and juices?
High. Soda's bad.
Concentrate versus natural.
Oh, natural.
Natural rather than from concentrate.
Right.
Juice.
Right. Yeah, the less processing of your ingredients, the better it is for your body. So you can take something that's perfectly good and they can play a lot of games with it. Orange juice, for example, is something that it's pasteurized to get the bacteria out. But when you heat oranges, it changes the flavor. So miraculously, they can remove the flavor from the orange juice, pasteurize it, and put the flavor back in. So it doesn't change the flavor.
Excuse me.
How would V8 juice be?
V8, if you found an organic juice comparable, it should be okay. But there's probably a lot of carrots and everything in there as well. So you have to look into it.
So are you saying like for orange, compare from the, like the plastic bottle,
Mhm.
even the ingredient says fresh orange
Mhm.
against the actual orange, and you're gonna squeeze in and prepare it, so you would choose the second one instead of the one in the bottle, even if it says ingredient fresh orange? Because there's like some brand that carries, like
Fresh squeeze.
So there is fresh squeezed. Yeah, if there's minimal processing to it, could be good. Again, sugar. Oranges can be very high in sugar, so consider that too, right? Because sugar can be a propellant for cancer. So keep that in mind. If it's organic orange juice, again, so if you have all that stuff going for you, not a bad choice at all. If it's organic, if it hasn't been processed, you can't find those ingredients out there. I think naked juice is probably something like that. And you can see because it settles, and you got to shake it. If you were to juice your own oranges and let it sit there, it does the same thing. When you look at a bottle on the shelf and it doesn't do that, then something's been changed to it. So those are kind of obvious things. The orange juice, it'll look just like water on the top, and then all the pulp will settle to the bottom. The color scheme will change as it sits there. Most juices will do that. And yes, ma'am.
Hi, did you say that soy promotes estrogen? I have read that.
Soy has a lot of estrogen in it. Yes.
So you wouldn't choose that as,
No, I avoid soy products.
you wouldn't use soy milk?
No.
But other milk promotes diarrhea and other things. So what kind of
What
milk?
about-
Is
have
there
you
milk
tried-
that's neither,
Almond milk? We talk about almond milk.
I heard you mention that,
Yeah.
but is it thickening? Did you ever try it?
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Not so sweet?
I'm gonna try that.
You can find, well, I think you can find various levels of sugar in them. You can find flavored ones, vanilla. You can find natural.
Oh, you can find natural almond milk?
Yeah.
I'll go try
Yeah.
that. All right, thank you.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Yeah, but
Right.
I bought the soy there,
Right.
but then I was reading about that. So, and it's not
Excuse me,
sweet?
ma'am, do you have estrogen-based cancer?
Have I sweet? Oh, okay.
I don't know if she can hear me. Does she have estrogen-based cancer? Because she shouldn't have soy.
No.
She's asking a question.
She's asking.
Oh, well, what did you say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what she's asking.
Yeah, because edamame, that's soy, right?
Right. So
I've kind of stopped all
Yeah.
soy.
Yeah. When you talk about, that's a good example you bring up edamame because it's a soybean, right?
Right.
So how do you take that soybean and make it into milk?
Process.
Like crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of fermenting that goes involved and processing and bleaching and all kinds of funny stuff. Yeah. So when you see a bean and it turns into milk,
It said soy
beans turn
somewhere.
into milk.
Yeah.
Same thing with almonds.
Oh, same.
No, because
Well, there's more of a crushing process and that sort of thing. that
it
goes
is,
on.
because you can put almonds in your juicer blender and make almond milk.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it has a more of a color that's closer to an almond when it's finished to begin with, right?
Yes.
As opposed to a green bean
Versus
turning
white.
white, right? Yeah. So that's just a lot. My point is that there's a lot of processing. Tofu is something funky. There's definitely a lot of fermentation involved with that, and crazy process. And then also there's soy sauce, which is, so there's just a lot of soy products out there. Soy is very common, like corn is. Corn can be for so many different things. They're making styrophones and plastics out of corn now, which are biodegradable, which is great.
They're running
It's
cars,
great.
trucks on it too.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about these anti-cancer foods, the anti-cancer ingredients. How many people are familiar with, it sounds like some people know about the lycopene and different things like that. Is anti-cancer foods things that you're familiar with, or is it a new concept? Good, okay. Let's talk about the purpose of it. Now, the way that the FDA works is that there's a lot of research and development that goes into approving it as a medical treatment. And usually it takes, like Paxil, for example, it takes about $1 billion worth of human testing for the results to be strong enough for the FDA to approve it. Okay? There's a patent on Paxil. Now Paxil brings in about $1 billion a year for the pharmaceutical company. So it's worth the investment, correct? Try doing that to a blueberry. You can't patent a blueberry. They grow everywhere. So the amount of money and research into foods like this is much more minimal. They're done at a more affordable level that people can do. So there's a lot of research that has been done that these ingredients may impact cancer in a couple different ways, and we'll talk about the different ways. Now, once the research is done for, let's say, Paxil, for example, it gets into medical journals, it gets into pharmaceutical reps that show up and talk to the doctors themselves, and there's a lot of literature and journalism that's done on these drugs to educate the doctor. That same thing isn't happening with food. A lot of doctors will tell you that they've had very minimal nutritional education. It's just not part of medical treatment. So that's there has been some research done, and we'll talk about the effects that these things may have on cancer treatment. But again, it is not. Some people will decide on their own that they're going to treat cancer with diet, and other people will say that this is a good way in addition to medical treatment. A lot of people, the situation that I'm in now, the gentleman that I work for was cancer-free after his last surgery and wants to stay that way. So he stayed on his diet. And so far it's worked out very well for him. His blood work came back better than it ever has in his life. This was, I want to say, about 6 months ago. So when he sees the results, when I read the results of his blood work, when he showed me, it's very rewarding to know that he's making such a difference. And again, he claims that the only thing that he's changed in his diet, or in his life, is his diet. So that's what he believes is making an impact for him. And lung cancer is bad news for a lot of people. But he has a lot of hope in his life now, and I'm trying to share that hope with everybody else. So depending on your situation, these foods can really make a difference. There are some foods, though, some ingredients that may counteract the treatment you're going through. So that's why I said in the beginning, make sure you check with your doctors first to say that there's, to make sure that these things that he's agreeable to. He may say, I don't know anything about it, but he may be aware of some things that say don't do this and don't do that, and make sure you leave those things out. So that's important too. Okay. Now the way that these foods work is that it can condition your body, your tissues, to help resist the cancer cells when they settle in. And again, that's done through anti-inflammatory foods that really reduce the inflammation and normalizes your circulation. And then it'll also help the cancer cells in your body to commit suicide. And it also helps your body be more receptive to treatment if you're going through treatment. So these are things that it contributes to. Okay?
I like that phrase, cancer cells committing suicide.
It's actually Dr. Schreiber, the author of the Anti-Cancer, is the one that said that.
And this is Paxil, what is that?
What's that?
Paxil.
Paxil is a drug and chemotherapy. Paxil was just an example that I used. That's not one.
How do you spell it?
Tamoxifen.
KXOL, I believe.
And is it a specific drug or
Yeah. It's a part of the mixture. of
It's a
chemo.
classification of different drugs?
No, it's its own drug.
It's its own
Yeah,
drug?
yeah.
One question, I
Sure.
must. Never had such a sugar craving in my entire life as I have. It's radiation now, post-chemo, and I mean, literally buying things I've never bought. I don't even like chocolate ice cream, and there's a Weight Watcher chocolate fudgicle, I have no idea. It's like, and there's a part of me that's going, okay, your body must say, you know, because I always listen to my body, I used to be in excellent shape, must need some sugar. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, I don't know if the radiation is burning it out, I don't know if that's emotional pablum I'm giving myself to justify it, but I'm having sugar cravings, if it's junky, I'm buying it. So you're saying you've got to resist that?
Yeah.
And even watermelon, I never eat watermelon, I'm eating watermelon like it's going out of style. So when I saw watermelon, then I tried cantaloupe. So you're, what, then I bought almonds with yogurt covered, which I never had before, and they're pretty good too, oh, sorry. Sorry. Red jelly beans.
Are you advertising sugar out here?
No, but
yes, she
I've
is.
never had such a sugar craving in my life, and you're saying that cancer wants that to thrive? It's an environment that lets it thrive? So what's the absolute antithesis? Is to not have sugar?
Right.
So I have to